Well, you're right, guys. Just about to sow a load of seeds, and it's one of those little eureka moments. I've been picking up a few new subscribers, thank you very much, and there's a few followers, and they're asking me questions like, how do I do this, how do I do that? And it's occurred to me, I've never done a proper seed sowing video. You know, back to basics, that's a good one. Back to basics, or seed sowing indoors 101. You know, real down to earth information. So, here we go then. So, that's the last time I use that one, don't worry. What do we need to grow seeds? Well, we need some seeds, that's for sure. We need some seeds. Something for the seeds themselves to grow in. Something for the media to go in. Need to give the seeds a drink. And you need somewhere to put them after you've sown them. Now I'm talking about indoor sowing now, okay, not outdoor sowing. Very similar, but very different. So indoor sowing, you need somewhere to put the containers. Majority of seeds don't need light to get them going, so you can go on top of a fridge. Anywhere indoors this time of year, what is it now, 20 degrees inside the house? That'll probably do most seeds. Now, there's no point even thinking about growing your seeds until you know it's the right time of year to grow them. So this is red leaf basil. And it says here, indoor sowing all year round, January to December, okay? Summer savoury, February to May, not too bad. So, if you get seeds that haven't got any instructions, like these ones from Bargain Seeds, these are lettuce, iceberg, look on the internet, loads of information on the internet, Google it, and it will tell you when to sow lettuce. But it doesn't really tell you when to sow it in your area. So what you need to do is a couple of websites, and one I use is called gardenfocus.co.uk. Go on the website, and at the top of the page, you can pick your town in the UK. You can pick your town. So I picked Dursley. Click on Dursley. It tells you when the last frost date is. And mine's something like the first week of May. And the other thing about the website is when you go on the lettuce page, for example, it tells you when to sow them. 3rd week of March or whatever it is. And that way you know they're ready to go out after your last frost date. Now bear in mind, frost dates are all a guess. They're estimated on past history. Lovely, beautiful sunny day. Who would have guessed it'd be 22 degrees on Good Friday? Another year it could be snowing. So like I say, take it all with a pinch of salt. Okay then, so we know what we want to sow, and we'll do basil for this one. We know what we want to sow, we know we can sow it, and we know we've got somewhere to put the seeds when we've sown them. So we need something to grow them in now, media. The vast majority of seeds will be very happy in a seed sowing compost, whether it's peat-free or peat-based. A lot of packets will tell you you can use multi-purpose compost. Just be a bit careful with multi-purpose compost. I mean, they come with all bits and pieces in, you know, twigs and bits of stick and other rubbish that I don't want to go into now. If you want a finer compost and all you've got is multi-purpose, sieve it, or as they call it, riddle it. And I've got a riddle somewhere. Quite a fine riddle, this one. If you're crafty, you can use a kitchen sieve, but don't tell the missus. So all you want to do, put some multi-purpose compost in the riddle, and I'll try and catch some to show you. I've got a little tray here. It doesn't take long, look. I'll put that back. Doesn't take long, and we got some now, some very fine compost that we can use for seed sowing. Okay then, so we got the seeds, we know we can sow them, we got some for the seeds to sit in, now we need some for the media to go in. And there are thousands of things. I mean, quarter seed tray, half seed tray, you know, your more proprietary, you know, official looking things. Fruit punnet, it's got holes in the bottom already. It's had grapes in it. You can use ordinary plant pots. What else we got here? Mushroom tray, make some holes in the bottom. Be careful guys, I don't want you stabbing yourself. What else we got? Oh, Chinese container. Handy, got a lid. Already done the holes in this one because I've used this before. And then we get on to modular growing devices. This is a 5x4, a 20 cell plug tray. 12 cell plug tray, 15 cell, big one there. And then we're on to the specialist things again, like a deep root trainer. We're not going to be using that today. Now the good thing about these cell trays is you can multi-sow in them, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But also, when you push these out, there's very minimal root disturbance to whatever you're growing. Some plants, like beetroot, don't like root disturbance. If you was to grow beetroot in, say, a quarter seed tray, they wouldn't be very happy. They may grow, but they won't be happy. And the other thing you need to think about, especially earlier in the year, is covering the seeds when you've sown them. Like I said, this handy little Chinese tray's got a lid already. Quarter cell seed tray. This one came with a lid. Proper job. If your container's small enough and you haven't got a proper lid for it, pop it in a poly bag. This little yogurt pot, for example, in a sandwich bag. Sorted. And all the lid does, it keeps the humidity up, keeps the moisture in, keeps a little bit of heat in, like I said, especially earlier in the year. Right, we're getting there. We've got the seeds. We know we can sow the seeds. We've got the media. We got the tray. Next thing, very, very important, vital, I'd say, is labels. Plenty of labels around. Proprietary plant labels. Lollipop sticks. Popsicle sticks, if you're in America. Lollipop sticks. I think that might be a Magnum. And a fruit split. Terry King uses Venetian blinds cut up. Somebody else uses pieces of fizzy pop bottles. Very good idea. But what I like to do, I like to write on a piece of electrical insulation tape and stick it to my container, because I've got this terrible habit of losing the label. Especially outside. I mean, I've got a tiny little garden. Only takes a cat to walk over, knock the label out, and I don't know what that is. So what I do, and we're going to do basil, so I'm going to write basil on this bit of insulation tape here. Red basil. And we'll use that in a second. Oh. Another thing to consider, just before you do get sowing, is don't forget you're going to be sowing these seeds, but they're going to, unless you're doing them to go directly into the ground, you're going to need somewhere for these young seedlings to go. They need to be pricked out, as they call it. I've got some calendula here. They're ready to be pricked out, and they've got to go into pots. So where am I going to put 15 pots, for example? You know, suddenly you've got to find room for 15 like this. And they need light as well at this stage. So just bear that in mind. Oh, one thing I didn't tell you as well, another way you can grow something. A cut-off pop bottle, fizzy soda bottle, fizzy pop bottle. Brilliant, that's parsley grown in there. And again, the good thing with that is it has a lid. You can cut the top off, make a lid out of it. Mini greenhouse. So, okay then, guys, well, I think we're nearly there now. Oh, we got to talk about seeds, haven't we? Right, seeds come in all shapes and sizes, as you probably guess. And so do the packets. We have pictorial packets. We have seeds that come in a little bottle. Seeds with no information whatsoever. These are from Bargain Seeds. More pictorial. Seeds that I've saved. Seeds with information on but no picture. These are from CK Horticultural Supplies. Climbing French beans. Seeds that your friends send you. These are Azure Blue Kohlrabi from Danny. And then you've got any sort of club membership seeds. These are Pickling Cucumbers from the Veg Growers Podcast Club. And it goes on and on and on and on. Okay. Right, these pictorial packets, in general, and this is a very general statement, you tend to find these are slightly more expensive than the no information packets. The reason being, they've gone to a lot of time and effort to give you all this gumph on the back. And I'm going to talk about that right at the very end of the video. So what we got on the back there, let's have a typical look at what we got. This is cauliflower, all year round cauliflower from Thompson and Morgan. Top of the packet, it's got a little bit of advertising gumph. Large tight heads, sweet flavour when eaten raw, blah blah blah. So that's the one to get you to buy it. Just below that, we've got a little chart of the months to sow it indoors and outdoors and when to harvest it. So this says indoors February to May, so we're spot on now because it's April. and then it tells you how to sow it. So just bear with me while I read this. Sow in individual pots or a seed tray of good seed compost. Now this one actually mentions seed compost. And cover with 6 millimeters of compost or vermiculite. Keep at a minimum temperature of 15 Celsius until germination takes place in around 7 days. 7 days. Bear in mind 7 days. There's no good looking at your tray after 3 days and thinking, oh, that's a waste of time, I ain't got any blooming cauliflower. It says 7 days on there, so 7 days. So I think what we ought to do now is look at a few seeds, and I'm going to have to be careful with this because it's blowing a little bit. Okay then, here we are with some seeds on top of this little Chinese food container, and you can see they're all different shapes and sizes. So we've got top left, we've got runner bean seeds, French bean, cobra seeds, we've got some courgette seeds in the centre there. Right at the top right corner we've got some pelleted lettuce seeds. Just in front of those are some normal lettuce seeds. And just right at the very front there, these dinky little spots, summer savoury seeds, tiny little things. Okay then, so in general, all these seeds have got the same requirements. They need something to grow in, they need a bit of moisture, they need or may not need a bit of heat, and some need a bit of light. Summer savoury, for example, grow better when they're not covered. But the rest need covering. And a general rule, if you're not sure and you can't find any information, is sow the seed 1 to 2 times its depth. So a runner bean, for example, that looks about 1 to 2 inches deep. French bean, about 1 inch deep. Courgettes, about ½ inch deep, and so on. It's only a rough guide, because when you sow it in the open, in the ground, you make a line in the soil, just drop them in and cover it back up. That's not 12 mil, that's 15, 20, 8, 6. It's all over the place. And they still grow. So don't worry about the actual depth. Well, I'm going to put these back in very quickly before I lose them. Okay guys, we're ready to start sowing. After all that, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Now, before you do anything else, write your label. Because what's going to happen now? You're going to start sowing these seeds, you're going to scatter them on top, the phone's going to go, delivery man's going to turn up, or you rush off to the toilet. And when you come back, you get sidetracked because you've got an email on the computer. The next thing you know, you ain't got a clue what's in this container. So, first thing you do, put the label on. Right then. Now this is where you can go one of many ways. There's loads of ways to do this. Some people, it's conventional, is you put a bit of compost in your container, tap it down a bit. You can, if you've got very small seeds, gently press it down to give it a level surface. Then you sprinkle your seeds on, or nice and neatly, and cover the seeds as it tells you. If you haven't got a riddle and you don't want to use the kitchen sieve, then get your hands and just sprinkle like this. Like I say, 6 to 12 mil deep, whatever it says on the packet or whatever you've Googled. That's one way. And then you water. I'm not going to do the watering now because I don't want to get the compost wet. And then you water, give it a good watering, put the lid on, put it aside. Another way of doing it is load your compost exactly the same as before. Then water it, get it really wet. Sow your seeds, put your compost on top, water it again. Some people don't water it a second time. There's as many ways of doing this as there are stars in the sky, you know what I mean? One more thing to mention, you need the compost to be moist to start off with. It's no good if it's bone dusty dry. I mean, that's off the surface there. But if it is, sprinkle it with water, leave it a couple of hours, or if it's really, really dry, water it well the day before and then come back. Your seeds will thank you for it. They won't grow in this dust. This dust is going to take ages to soak any water up, to rehydrate. So this is nice and moist out of the bag. And all I'm doing, getting it level, tapping it down. I've labelled it. We got basil, red basil. Okay, we're about to sow, but one thing you would not normally do, and that is to sow over compost. You'd normally do it to one side, because if you drop these seeds in there, you're going to have red basil everywhere. But I'm going to do it because it's easier. Just to show you what's going on without me clearing the table. Okay, the way I like to do it, Just sprinkle them in my hand and then just rub them between my finger and thumb. Fingers, yeah, finger and thumb. And just drop them on. Fairly thinly spaced. I mean, you don't want, well, you probably don't want 200 basil plants. What some people are good at doing, and I can't do this, is they put it in their hand and then they tap their hand like that. Might work with bigger seeds with me, but it certainly doesn't work with basil. Okay, so we got the seeds on the compost. Like I say, I'm going to show you both ways. So use a riddle. Yeah, there's a little bit on there. That's one way. On the other way, just check the packet. Yep, 6 mil deep, so that's about 3. So anyway, yeah, if you haven't got a riddle, and I find it easier lengthways like this, get your soil, get your compost in your hands and just rub it gently. It has the added advantage of getting any big bits out as well. There we are, nice and neat. Clean the top up. A big bit of string there. And then water. And like I say, I'm going to water like this for this one. There we are, that's got the seeds nice and wet. And that will start them germinating. Another way of watering your seeds, which I do sometimes, let me just put that there, is to get a waterproof tray, or a gravel tray as they call them. No holes in the bottom. Loads of water. I'll do for this bit. And then just drop the tray in the water, and the capillary action of the compost will draw the water up. Particularly good with tiny small seeds on the surface this way, so you're not disturbing the seeds with your spray or with your dripper or with your watering can, whatever you're using. Okay then, so on with the lid in this case, and I'll leave that in the greenhouse. The greenhouse stays at 16 degrees, that'll be right for this. I've got one more lot of seeds I want to show you, then I'll just let you get on with it. And this is those pickling cucumber. And I'm doing this in a little yogurt pot because I'm pretty sure there's only 4 or 5 seeds in here, I expect. You don't tend to get a lot of seeds with cucumbers. Oh yeah, what we got here then? So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 9, no, it's 10, so I'll plant 5. Same sort of thing again. I got, I think it's a yogurt pot or something like that. Got holes in the bottom. Now what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to fill this almost to the top. Because what I'm going to do here is push the seeds into the compost. Generally, seeds that have got any size to them, you put on their edge. Generally. So I'm going to just grab hold of it like that and just push it in. One in the centre and 4 on the outsides. What this does, it stops moisture sitting on top of the flat of the seed and making it rot. So, there we are. And this one I'll soak from the top. These won't get watered again now until they germinate. There's enough water that I'm putting on and in the compost already to see them through. And they're being sealed anyway in this bag. There we are then. And all I'll do now is I've got a little spreadsheet indoors or a notebook or whatever you want, just write a date of when you sowed them. Cucumbers about 5 to 7 days, so this time next week I should have some cucumber seedlings. Yeah, I think what we'll do next time, we'll do a little bit back to basics of pricking out, you know, just to carry on the theme if you like. Okay guys, I very quickly raided the grandkids' pencil box to show you this chart. So this is germination in percentage, 25, 100, and this is temperature degrees Celsius, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 20. Okay. I tried to do it upside down, but it didn't work. So. Alright, so there's 0. Okay, we've got a packet of thyme seeds here, and on the back it says 15 to 20 Celsius germination temperature. So, 15 is there, 20 is there. Now, most seed companies aim for a germination rate, an almost guaranteed germination rate of 80%. It's probably more than that, usually is more than that, but they say 80 because they don't want complaints when you haven't got 100%. So we sow our seeds and we hope to get them in the soil, in the compost, between 15 and 20 Celsius. Because if we did them at 2 degrees, there's no germination. At 4 degrees might be a little bit, and 6 degrees a little bit. 8 degrees, they're perking up. 10 degrees, we're getting 25% germination. And then they're waking up, around about 15, 20 degrees. They're happy. And it gets warm and they're not too bad. And then it gets a little bit warmer and they start dropping off again. By 30 degrees, they're not very happy. And by 40 degrees, they won't germinate at all. So this is the band that the seed companies are saying, do everything right as we tell you, and we reckon you'll get 80% germination. 8 out of every 10 seeds you put in will grow. Brilliant.
The other thing you'll see on the back of a packet is the sow by date.
Now, everyone will tell you, I've kept seeds for 20 years and they've still grown. They probably have, but you haven't got 80% germination rate. So let's say you keep your seeds for 5 years. They'll do pretty well. They'll still grow and you won't get quite such a good germination rate. And it will basically follow the graph like that. But at 10 years, they won't even start off at 8 degrees. And you'll get like something like 15% germinating and that's it. They just won't grow. So yes, you will get some, but you'll only get, let's call that 20%. You'll only get 1 in 5 of your seeds germinating. There we are. So that's why they give you all these fancy numbers. You don't see the actual germination rate on the back of UK packets. You do on North American and Canadian ones, and you get them on quite a few European ones. Maybe it's what that will pick up in the UK. You're more likely to see it on the actual website rather than on the packet. So on my chart, that I'm going to show you straight after this, on my chart, I've taken the gump from quite a few different places, including my own experience, and I've worked out this band for me. Okay then guys, well here's my chart. Very rudimentary and quite a broad band of ideal temperatures in most cases. Just based on my own experience and bits of information from here on the web and on seed packets. Quite surprising some of the minimum temperatures. I mean, you look at onions, 1 degree, lettuce 2 degrees. They'll grow, they just take a little bit longer to get going, and like I said, you may not get such good germination rate. Stick to the advertised bands, 15 to 20, 5 to 25 or 10 to 25, and they'll fly away. Feel free to copy it, use it, whatever you want. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. A little bit suck eggs for you experienced growers out there, but there's plenty of people who aren't quite so sure what to do, so I hope it's gone some way to help you. I've probably missed out loads. There's so much more I probably could have said, but I bet you're glad I didn't. I want to try and keep it nice and simple for now. So do the usual thing, thumbs up, thumbs down if you really have to. Ding the bell, subscribe. Have a great weekend and I'll catch you soon.